The United States is set to deliver a $61 billion aid package to the Ukrainian military, and Russia is paying attention. Russia's defense minister said Tuesday Moscow would ramp up its own weapon production in response to what he describes as threats posed by the United States and its allies. He added, quote, "We will increase the intensity of attacks on logistics centers and storage bases for Western weapons." Meanwhile, there is no break in the fighting. Officials in the Ukrainian port city of Odessa say Russian missile strikes early Tuesday injured at least 9 people and damaged 58 apartment units. Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, William Taylor, joins me now. Mr. Ambassador, it's good to have you back again. What does Russia's presence on the battlefield look like at this stage of the war in the context, obviously, of this long-delayed funding from the U.S. Congress?
John, it's a great question. You would think that now would have been the time for the Russians to push their advantage. I mean, this is the time. Last month and up until right now, up until the House vote and the Senate votes, the Ukrainians were very worried about whether or not they were going to have enough ammunition, and they were husbanding their ammunition. And so one would have expected the Russians to take advantage of that, but they didn't seem to be able to do that. So my sense is that they couldn't, that they didn't have the ability, that their troops were so tired, that their equipment was so beat up and taken out that they weren't able to push this aggression that they've been doing.
President Zelensky has been talking about a Russian offensive expected in the spring and summer. Does this put that in doubt, or what's your feeling about whether there is to come a Russian offensive in the near future?
John, I think it may put it in doubt. It's the Russians know, and we don't. But they have to be worried, and sounds like your report just said that they are worried, that the Americans are finally sending a lot of equipment, a whole lot of equipment. $1 billion is probably coming right away as soon as the president signs this bill. And F-16s are coming, and the long-range fires are coming. So the Russians have to see their advantage as fleeting, as disappearing. And so I would imagine that they're reconsidering their attack, their counteroffensive that they had been planned, and that the Ukrainians expected in June.
What's your sense, Mr. Ambassador, of the relief in Ukraine now that this looks like this package is going to pass? How are they reacting?
They are ecstatic, John. They are ecstatic. They, of course, wish it had come earlier. They've paid a price for that delay in terms of soldiers dying and of territory lost, but they're very pleased that it came. They are now pumped up for this new equipment that's coming in, this new artillery rounds. It's going to allow their commanders to relax a little bit on the restraints that they had put on their use of artillery. So I would imagine we'll see a change right away. The Rada, you probably heard, the Parliament broke out American flags to wave when they heard this news.
What's your sense of their capacity to handle the incoming? So sometimes what happens is you wait, you get it, and then it's kind of the amount overwhelms you. Is the Ukrainian army and government fit enough to handle this new influx and put it into good use?
They are fit enough. There's no doubt, John. They are prepared. They've been holding back because they weren't sure when this new stuff is coming. So this will get in starting in the next couple of days, we're told. So they've been ready for this. They've been eager for this. They've been hungry for this. So no, they will have no trouble putting this to good use.
And finally, you mentioned it's not just amount, but kind, which is to say, also what's coming to Ukraine are F-16 fighter jets. When are those showing up, and how might that change the state of the conflict?
So the F-16s, as you know, the pilots are being trained, and the logistics are being put in place with the new kind of equipment that they need to maintain these. That's all getting into place. So I would expect the F-16s to be in the air, fighting the Russians, putting pressure on the Russian military, both on the ground and in the air, in a month or two, sometime later this spring, early summer. The other thing that's coming, though, are these long-range weapons, that allow the Ukrainians to go after, for example, the Kerch Bridge.
Ambassador William Taylor, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me.